Nowadays, it's impossible to imagine music not being part of immersion on a lot of different medias. A song could be a way to connect different places, moments, and even characters. Video games and animation use this kind of tool more often than any other media, because there's a constant effort of uniqueness in their making process. Also why I end up singing in a language I don't understand. And no, I'm not talking about English. And the main reason anyone has an ocarina. They do this by giving a particular song to the main cast. This is why songs like El's, Naruto's, and Fullmetal Alchemist themes are so important. This music mainly makes us recognize the character. It represents the overall description. But what about its progress, or their particular emotions during the narrative? The individualization of these songs is a least common practice, since special songs are constantly used in the big climaxes or action moments. For example, Naruto's Rising Fighting Spirit is constantly used through the action-packed and resolution moments. Meanwhile, Emilia from Fate Stay Night is used in the same manner, but only once in the whole series. For me, the most interesting example of all, which represents both aspects, may be Shigatsu wa Kimi no Uso or Your Lie in April. This show has an advantage over the others on the music department, because the main plot is about piano players, and the most relevant songs came from classic interpreters like Beethoven, Saint-Saëns, and Chopin. I know it's Chopin, but if the series can pronounce it like that, why can't I? But I believe even this requires a certain amount of perception and interpretation from the artist, which is also a main theme in the series. But what do I mean when I say that characters and situations are well represented through the music? How's that reflected in the animation? I'm talking specifically about the performance of each of the four main interpreters. Always Teasing Kaori, Full Animo Aiza, Femme Fatale Emi, and Getting the Freaking Piano Arima. Our introduction to Kaori is through a playful flute song, to represent the innocent part of hers. But it's through her main performance that she is fully depicted. Her song Kreutzer from Beethoven depicts her recklessness by showing an aggressive approach to the song. The original song is longer and has slower paced moments, but using only the explosive moments of it to depict her interpretation is the main reason this shines as it does. The animation is shown through fast cuts between her interpretation and the audience, selecting key moments so you feel the impact of her notes, particularly this moment. Always trying to give a sense of expectation, feeling part of the audience, and also the pressure of being at the stage. This is something not exclusive to Kaori, but to every single interpretation on the show. In a similar way, Aiza is also a hot-blooded character, but this is not fully represented in his first song, which has a more powerful approach rather than personal, but in the second one, in which his impatient personality is truly shown. The animation goes between him as a child and his wishes to surpass Arima. The interpretation shows determination and melancholy, but ends up with passion, representing his change to a more open perspective of himself. This is a process similar to Arima, in which he decides to toss perfection and embraces his own self, and the main reason his two songs are different, showing progress on his character. This passion is also presented on Emi, with her song Winter Wind. You can feel her capricious being in the abrupt changes in the song, particularly here. The acute sound attacks our ears as a declaration of danger and ruthless, both characteristics of her pianist. The show even makes use of the colors red and yellow to depict anger and loneliness, but it could also be represented as melancholia and love. The music and visuals try to convey a both elegant and strong personality. All these emotions come from the same character, Arima. His solo interpretations have a different approach, since he's always struggling with his inability to hear the notes. They always start with some more abrupt sounds, showing the agony of his past, and end up with lighter ones, depicting a sense of relief. His songs, as a result, end up being longer than those in the rest of the series, always with a subtle ending and a long silence. This is explained as the audience feeling confused, but it is also a way of letting us, as viewers, to sink in with the emotions of sadness and despair of the character. The visuals complement this more than ever, with the depiction of isolation and introversion, with the use of the water, depicting him as sinking in the ocean. The biggest depiction of character development in the whole series comes from the two main performances of the duo, Introduction and Rondo Capriccioso from Saint-Saëns, and Ballade in G minor from Chopin. The first one represents the constant effort of Kaori pushing Arima, as the sound is presented as a valse between them. The sound of the violin is aggressive, while the piano is fast-paced, like trying to catch up, ending with an unison feeling of effort. This is confirmed by they constantly catching each other's eyes. Now, I'm about to talk in depth of the final song of the series, so if you want to avoid any spoilers, click on the next annotation or go to the following time. Ready? Here goes. Chopin's Ballade in G minor op. 23 is a song that anyone who watches this series will remember forever. For the first time, Arima feels in complete control while playing, and the sudden materialization of Kaori playing the violin changes the song from slow and simple to playful and comforting. All this accompanied by this image of peace, in which the water is now under them, no longer surrounding them, in a rather nostalgic way. The visuals in the climax match perfectly the music. This explosion of emotions, music, and animation complement each other, depicting the resolution of him letting go his past, his inability to play, and, most of all, his only true love, Kaori. This series knows how to draw a good climax. That being said, the rest of the series has its ups and downs, giving a sense of urge to reach the next composition. The moments in between feel sometimes slow. This is intentional, so Arima could develop himself, but it is something to take in account in this animation. If you haven't checked this series, this will be a good time, at least for its music value, and if even Eiichiro Oda envies this manga author, it may have something really good for you. This has been the All-Arounder Geek, Master of Nothing, Apprentice of Everything, and remember, this is an amazing time to be alive.